A push for change. Jacksonville City Council president now wants all Confederate memorials in town removed and relocated, including this one at Hemming Park. Her call comes on the same day that President Trump condemned white supremacist groups.
Racism is evil, and those who cause violence in its name are criminals and thugs.
The president called them out by name, including the KKK, neo-Nazis, and other hate groups.
Here in Jacksonville, Council President Anna Brochet has announced that she wants an inventory of all the Confederate markers, statues, and memorials around the city so they can be removed from public property and placed elsewhere, like in a museum. Similar steps are already being taken in Gainesville. This is video of a Confederate statue called Old Joe being removed from in front of the Alachua County Administration Building. It's been there since 1904. We're waiting to learn if there will also be renewed calls to change the names of 2 Duval County schools named after Confederate generals, both seen here in this video from our Sky 4 helicopter, Jeb Stuart Middle and Lee High.
Joy will have an update on the violence in Charlottesville that sparked all of these developments today, but we begin with Scott Johnson, who spoke with the City Council president and the mayor. Scott.
Well, Tom, she's pushing for legislation here at City Hall to remove all these markers, one, maybe couple hundred feet away, right there in the middle of Hemming Park. She wants to know how many there are and get rid of them. City Council President Anna Lopez Brochet is working to find out how many Confederate statues, markers, and memorials are in Jacksonville. She's asking the Parks and Rec Department to inventory everything that's displayed in the city.
At the end of the day, I'd like to move them. I'd like to make sure that we can appreciate the history and the heritage of what these memorials, monuments, and markers mean to the city of Jacksonville, and at the same time also recognize that these are symbols that invoke a significant amount of negative emotion for some in our community.
I'm finding a mixed review on this idea around the city. For instance, Dave Nelson, who owns Uncle Davy's Americana, which sells a lot of Confederate historical memorabilia, says this should not happen. He says white nationalists latching on to Confederate history is inappropriate.
Oh, it's very upsetting. And the thing is with both of those movements, they're not based on fact. They're not based on history. They are based on hate.
Lakey Love is with the ACLU and agrees with Lopez Brochet that the monuments should be gone.
I stand for taking them down, right? They represent white supremacy, a history of racism, slavery, the internment of black and brown people, and I'm all for taking down anything that represents a historical past that marginalizes and oppresses people on the basis of their race.
I also spoke with Mayor Lenny Curry by phone. He would not take a position on whether or not this is right or wrong, but he does say he respects the council's right to decide what to do.
I respect the council's role in moving forward with priorities that are their priorities, that may not be mine. I mean, look, you can't be all things to all people, and I'm very focused on a city that's fighting its way out of violence because public safety was gutted.
So he says if a bill comes across his desk, he will review it and decide whether or not to sign it. As far as what the city council president wants to do, once again, she does not want to destroy the statues, rather move them to places like a school for study or to museums. We're live at City Hall. Scott Johnson, Channel 4, the local station.
Thank you, Scott. And we asked you on the WJXT Facebook page, should Jacksonville remove Confederate monuments from public property? More than 750 people said no. More than 500 said yes. You can voice your thoughts. Just search WJXT4, the local station, on Facebook.